Good morning and welcome to Middlebury Weekly News. My name is Clark Lewis, class of 2019, and I'll be your host this week. Lucky you. Last week at Middlebury, a number of exceptional lectures took place, one of which, titled Breaking the Bonds of Modern Slavery, featured a panel made up of Princely Prasad, who works at an anti-human trafficking nonprofit organization called the Nomi Network, Darnley Pollock, a sex trafficking survivor, and Sarah Stroup, an associate professor of political science at Middlebury College.
You know, you could go out and buy a whole lot of Easter candy, but you don't know how many kids, how many small children were literally forced to work day and night for that sugar that you're just going to throw out to people and eat in a day, when you could buy something that's a free trade product and that has a little lesson on it for this is made without slaves. This is a quality product for you and your family, and then you can actually talk about it. So locally, right, in your own personal space, you can make those kinds of buying decisions. And then, of course, don't buy sex. That's easy.
Okay, if I need to buy something, maybe I should invest in something that's actually not made of slave labor. I think a lot of times we think that we don't have the voice and the power, but we are living in a call-out culture. Call everyone out. Let them know that you want to purchase their goods. I'm not going to purchase it until you make a change, until you tell me that this is not made by a child.
At this lecture, students learned about the most quickly uncovered industry today, its shockingly high demand, and the mechanisms that governments have put in place as deterrents. Professor Stroup emphasized the need for greater efforts to fight the issue of human trafficking, not because of the number of victims, but simply because it is morally unacceptable. Furthermore, Prasad mentioned the presence of human trafficking in India as a byproduct of early childhood marriage and emphasized that companies and organizations have opportunities, if not even responsibilities, to make positive impacts as well. Another lecture focused on the life of Medgar Wiley Evers, a civil rights activist from the 50s and 60s. This lecture shed light on Medgar Evers' selfless efforts towards combating racial injustice in the past, efforts which led to his unfortunate death.
My point? Today, almost 56 years after the murder in the early hours of June the 12th, 1963, history and society has not acknowledged, let alone celebrated, Medgar Evers and his importance to the civil rights movement. Every murder, rape, and beating he investigates, every demonstration he directs, every boycott he organizes, every lawsuit he files is about freedom.
Professor Andrew Cohen further called Medgar Evers the quiet integrationist who did not seek fame in his works but instead worked independently and anonymously. On Thursday, Professor Tashi Rabgey gave a lecture on the Minzu policy and expressed the need to rethink how we define Tibet as an issue. The same day, Rukmini Callimachi also came to speak at Middlebury and shared her experiences working as a New York Times journalist reporting on various stories relating to ISIS and other terrorist groups. She shared audio files from her interviews with members of terrorist organizations and pointed out the misconceptions of American media. She emphasized the need to seek more information about terrorist organizations if we are to ever figure out the truth behind them. On Friday, Baihal hosted the Spring Symposium, an annual event featuring many impressive student presentations, and the Castalian Quartet performed a free concert in the Mahoney Center for the Arts. In the upcoming week, a nuclear physicist whose work bridges the gap between science and policy and non-proliferation studies will be lecturing on slowing the spread of nuclear weapons on Monday at the Robert A. Jones House from 4:30 to 6 o'clock. On this Monday, there will be a viewing party for Campus ERA Day as many campuses across the nation will participate in a discussion with various ERA activists. The discussion will be based around the concern that the ERA still has not been passed almost 100 years after it was first introduced to the U.S. Congress in 1923. The viewing party will take place from 6 to 7:30 in Baihal Room 220. Preview days will also be taking place this Monday and Tuesday, so if you see a kid looking lost around campus, stop, say hello, and welcome them to our home. Also, on Tuesday, the Parker Merrill Speech Competition is having their grand championship from 7:30 to 9 in the Robinson Hall in the Mahoney Center for the Arts. On Wednesday, in Baihal Room 220 from 12:30 to 1:30, Erika Niwa will be lecturing on the urgency of examining inequality during adolescence in a lecture titled Unequal: Perspectives on Youth Development. Also on Wednesday from 4:30 to 6 in By Hall Room 216, a member of the European Parliament will be talking about totalitarian temptations in free society, which he has identified as a demon in democracy in his new book. He urges that Western democracy has been creeping towards communist goals over time. From 7:30 to 9 p.m. on Thursday, there will be a faculty dance concert. Tickets will be sold for $6. Finally, Friday from 12:30 to 1:30 at the Robert A. Jones Conference Room, the former president of Save the Children USA and World of Learning, who has held various leadership and advisory roles at the UN and founded various NGOs, will be discussing the future of international release and development. There will be an eco fair as well from 2:30 to 5 on Friday at Wilson Hall. Thank you for tuning in to this week of Middlebury Weekly News. My name is Clark Lewis, class of 2019, and see you later.
Oh, that was a great idea.
That was really good.
Great.